Opening bounce, final term. One down by McAvoy, taken by Barlow, put down by Hayes. Hill upended, got the hand pass away though. Brilliant stuff to Bohr. Sliding in there, Sandilands heard a voice, got it out to Barlow. Hill's kick was charged down. That was great by Goddard. Ricochets back in the middle. In goes Mzungu. He's over the ball. Trying to back his way out of there. I think it's Simpkin. Or is it Cripps? Maybe Cripps who's on the ground because Nunes has come off. You can see him subbed out. So Cripps is the man on. He slipped on under our guard. Hayes, brilliant. Deft deflection. Gave it across to Gilbert. Gilbert, the high ball inside the forward 50. Revolt. Characteristic courage. Created a goal. No, he didn't. Cripps has missed.
Just a classic case there. You come onto the ground, you're up and about, you get your hands on the footy and you just want to blaze away. Just needed a little more poise there, the young fella.
But a lot of time, didn't he? I mean, we could tell because we're in the stand, but he just rushed himself.
Gee, how good Revolt was, though, wasn't he, to burst the pack there. So the Dockers, they do that long option to Sandilands. Quickly on to Barlow's, had 24 disposals. Pavlich, Dempster. Ball slow to come out. Main clever. Hayes has been magnificent. Polo, hot ball for Blake to Armitage. Natural lefty. Wants that left side. Dangerous kick. Good tackle though on Ibbotson. Free kick though against Geary going to Mzungu. Can't afford the opening goal, the Saints. As Richo said, they've probably got to kick 5 to win St Kilda. They've kicked 8 in 3 quarters. And they haven't had many goal scorers tonight. Blake had the chance to take it. Clark, just a little one forward and a boundary throw.
Well, they need 5, and they've got 4 since quarter time, Brooks.
I think the effort's been there from St Kilda. They've been very competitive and dominant, in fact, in the contested possession, but it's the work away from the contest that's Freo on top on.
Saints need to hold here then. Sandilands knocks it down. And the umpire with a quick whistle wants to ball it up.
A good setup. They've got a good setup away from this congestion. Fremantle. They've got a couple of blokes back around the middle of the ground, so St Kilda are going to have to run it out. If they kick it out, it'll just rebound straight in their face.
Sandilands again. McAvoy got it down. Brilliant smother there by Barlow. That ball eventually comes out to Del Santo. Del Santo, we haven't called his name too often tonight. Drives it around the other side. Brilliant. Revolt reaching straight up. Classical stuff behind Johnson. Goes down towards half forward. Taken by Stanley. Stanley needs to go long to Kazitsky. He's got a break on Dawson. Dawson comes back hard, but no hope. Kazitsky over the top. Cripps. Oh, what a terrible thing to do there. Kazitsky, it was a shocking hand pass. I suppose the idea was right as much as Cripps missed the last chance, and the youngster seemed to be clear, but the execution not very good to say the least. Well done by Del Santo. Nudges Zach Clark under the football. He's about 75 metres out. Golden opportunity goes begging for the Saints. Del Santo told to play on. Kicks a searching kick inside the forward 50. Knocked away from Kazitsky that time. Comes to Goddard, to Revolt. The skipper goes at an impossible goal, and it proves just that. Out of bounds on the full.
And here was the moment, wasn't it? Just here.
Oh, dear.
Well, I think he went about that because he saw Zach Dawson had his hands on tips and thought I could get one away here. So just go back and kick it, though.
So Pearce deep in defence. Fascinating to see how the Dockers play this now. They're sitting on a 2.5 goal lead. How offensive are they? Clark can't get a run at it. They get the ball at the back. G. Hill, not quite, but he got it back to Barlow, to Ballantyne. Geary wraps him up. Ball does come out, though. But G. Hill missed a moment there because had he taken it cleanly...
I've been really impressed with Stephen Hill has... it's a free kick downfield against St Kilda, I think, is it? Or
That's the
free kick, Nick Rewald. Forceful contact. On the 50, Luke.
So I guess against McFarlane, not to Revolt. And Revolt sets it up. Where's Cozzy? He's wrestling away. Couldn't quite Dawson with him. And then Geary gets it to Milne. Was it out? It's coming here. Richo, tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was actually Clancy Pearce that interfered with Nick Rewalt when he was trying to come at the football, and that was why that free kick was played, Bruce.
And it was there, Richo, was it?
Yeah, I think he blocked his path. It was probably there, yes.
And that ball appears to be out of bounds. That's what the boundary umpire said at the boundary throw in. Pearce, anxious to make amends, moves it about 5 metres, slapped across the line by Duffield.
So I've been really impressed with Stephen Hill's second half. Often he's been tagged out of the game and he sort of just tends to lose his drive and energy. Really good for him to fight his way through a bad first half.
Sandilands thumps it about 15 metres. Ballantyne over the football. Goes out of bounds. It'll be thrown in again. Geary crossing the line with the footy. He's had a good night.
Stephen Hill's brother makes his debut for the Hawks tomorrow night in a big game against the Eagles.
Ballantyne, I think, did a little pushing in the back inside the line there. Sort of supporters quickly picked it up as the hook comes down towards full forward. In front, Duffield. McPhee clears the zone, at least temporarily. Getting back, the mark is taken by Blake.
Has Malera short. Dangerous kick. Well done, Malera. Protected the footy. Gavin Wangerman has done a lot of work with Malera. Sort of took him on, well, his sister, of course, his partner, but took Malera on, and he's a smart footballer, this bloke. Mature age recruit from the Magpies in South Australia. Famous club. He's made a real impression in his first season. And that one wobbling to the top of the goal square. Bodies everywhere. Broughton, Mzungu, almost cut off. And was that Cripps again? Gee, he's been about, hasn't he?
Gee, Dawson's body work on Kazitsky's testing the umpire's judgment. He really is just getting his body right into him, almost taking his eyes off the footy to spoil.
McAvoy knocks it down. Stephen had the misfortune to be standing in front. Here's Hill, quick hands away. Broughton under pressure. Floats it back towards the defensive 50. Anthony the leap. Bounces obligingly for Simpkin. Geary changes direction completely. Goes across the ground. It was a good kick. Fisher takes the mark, but he's a long way out. They conceded some territory there. But Saints doing the attacking. Kicks into the man on the mark. It wanders inside the 50. It'll be a free kick to Stanley. Taken high by Ibbotson. Or was it Johnson? Not sure. Maybe Johnson.
50.
And now 50.
Oh, that's making a probable goal into a definite goal, isn't it? That's a bad blow.
Yeah.
Failed to give the ball back on the full.
Some terrific blocking between Kazitsky and Stanley to allow Stanley to get the space to get on the end of that kick. Terrific teamwork in the goal square.
So StKilda dominating attack in this term, and they reap the reward.
Gee, that was a hard-fought goal. StKilda must have pressed, I reckon, for 6-7 minutes forward at least.
No question about the free kick. Really unfortunate. And then this is the 50 metre. You've got to give the ball back on the full to the right player. On that occasion, had to go to Stanley, not Montagna. There's the explanation.
So Clark in the ruck. Dockers lead, but the lead is closing. Saints pressing hard. Simpkin, Anthony, and then Dempster getting into Anthony, and then Geary. Goddard, just a juggle, but he did well to Hayes. Broughton. Geary with a pick kick to centre wing. Clark, one hand, okay. Oh, the handball was poor. Stephen has Malera inside. Jack running hard, kicks to full forward. Who gets on the end of it? It's Cripps again. He's got it. He's suddenly a super sub.
Wow, the ball has followed him, hasn't it? And that time he just rocked up at the end of the play and put the finishing touch on.
How's that bandwagon going at Fremantle right now, Ben?
I'm off again.
There's so much space there for Cripps to run into. Richo, what's your take on the sub coming on with fresh legs?
Oh, it's so obvious in this game. He ran through the middle there and he just had so much more run in him than anyone else on the ground, and that's what the sub's for, and they left it later than what Fremantle did. They left it to three-quarter time.
The unlikely hero then, the boy from East Fremantle, Jamie Cripps, with dash, Dempster. Gave it to Jones. Montagna over the top to Stephen. Oh, good tackle. Coming up to get him was Dawson. Umpire lets them play. Dawson really needed to make a stop there, and he did. And the umpire will ball it up. So the irony, I'm sure, not lost on this crowd. For the moment at least, St Kilda playing it tougher, playing it harder. And the man that taught them to play this way is in the opposing coach's box. This is what Fremantle might aspire to. Malera is through. Fumbles it, picks it up, stabs it at goal, misses just about everything. Just right at the far behind post. It bounced to the left and scored a behind. So scores are level. And that 14-point margin at three-quarter time has evaporated.
Don't know about you, Bruce, but I bought that for about $1 million, that dummy.
Oh, that was unbelievable, Malera. Just didn't quite finish. Good kick in. So De Boer, important player. Had a good third quarter. De Boer, not such a good kick. We've seen a lot of kicks smothered tonight. Back he comes, and DePolo cuts it off. Dockers just can't get it forward to the centre line.
A couple of times they've had success in kicking the ball long down the wing. They had Clark there, but they need a bailout option, particularly when the heat in the game's on.
Pavlich quiet in this last quarter. I'm not sure if he's been at many contests at all. Goddard and Mundy boundary
He's
throw.
been pretty good in the ruck, bit Clark there, but they need to get Sandlin's back on, really. Get him in the ruck, so maybe get Clark up forward and just try and get a little bit of height and agility out of him up there.
So Goddard off a step. Kosicki's been very good. Johnson, Hill, wild handball, wanted Duffield. Jones, Hill tries to corral him. Back to Montagna. Kick to the top of the square's a good one. And belted through, and the Saints are suddenly in front.
The Dockers got right back into the game in the third quarter when they were able to get the ball out in space and into the hands of the real ball carriers. At the moment, the game's certainly being played in St Kilda's terms. It's been contest, repeat stoppage, contest, surge the ball forward to another contest.
Just an irresistible surge by the Saints right now. Fremantle employing the old rope of dope. I think a free kick will go to De Boer. He played for it.
Played it well, didn't he?
Yep. De Boer made contact very early with Goddard. Goes out to Mundy. They've got the extra man down the ground. Play on quickly. Across it comes to Hill, and that's one thing he can do. Pinpoint the footy. He's a terrific young player, Hill. I think the biggest problem is that he doesn't realise how good he can be.
They took the punt to go down the middle, took the long ball down the middle. He played it well, boy. He just made sure, De Boer just made sure that he got the blocking free kick. And if you can get that free possession up around the centre circle, it's very hard to defend.
6-3 from set shots. Here's Pearce. 35 metres out. The biggest kick of the night so far, and he puts it through. That might settle the nerves. They're back in front.
Yeah, terrific kick.
It's good overhead, Pearce, isn't he?
He's
really confident.
He's really come of age this year, hasn't he, so far? He must feel like he's a regular now, which is something he hasn't for a couple of years. He's a good size, isn't he? He's quick enough. He kicks the ball well. He's got a lot of body weight.
He actually, his kicking style reminds me a bit of Paul Northeast, Bruce.
Paul Northeast, yeah.
Port Adelaide player, half-back for the Magpies.
There's Sam Fisher and Chris Mayne, and it's a matchup we haven't talked about. Fisher had 12 touches at half-time, but Mayne is playing a defensive forward role on him. Only 2 touches in this second half. A good job being done there.
So the 10th lead change for the night. Gibalo was very good. Kicks the ball to half forward. Here is Mayne and Fisher, the duel Richo was talking about. De Boer tried to keep it in. Polo. Geary searches. Gee, did well. Geary really well to Hayes. Beautiful handball. Malera's got a few tricks. Back to Geary. Oh, that's dangerous. A bouncing Sharon. It was okay. Goddard spoke to it. It obliged. Got to Montagna. They get some width. McAvoy didn't use the run of Gilbert. McAvoy lopes and then tries to have pinpoint accuracy. Milne worked underneath, free kick. Hang it back.
I feel like match up that one for Fremantle. McPhee's done pretty well back there.
So Milne pokes it forward. Pavlich half volley, well played. To Pearce, to Mzungu, to Ballantyne. Ballantyne, great kick off a step to De Boer. I feel like Sandilands will probably play the rest of the match now. He's gone back on. You feel like he can go all the way here.
Rockers by 5 points. Ballantyne relishing the situation in the space. Finds Mundy. Hill.
Oh, one on here.
Hill can go long. Well, Clark is by himself in the goal square. Anthony's got the football.
No, that's here. It's here.
This might be his third.
Well, he's kicked 2. Clark got in behind the defence. He was, when this ball came short, not this one, that's a brilliant gather by Pavlich, but when they moved it down the ground,
Just the way you've
he
marked.
finds a teammate here in Anthony, but had Hill spotted Clark and gone the long kick to the square, that would have been rubber stamping a goal. This needs to be kicked. Anthony, 45 metres. He can become an unlikely hero at this end. It's hanging to the right. It's trying to come back. It won't.
Had that huge here at Collingwood where he kicked 50 goals. So not much room for error now for the Saints, you feel. They've dominated much of this last quarter. They've reduced the margin from 14 to 6, and at one stage they poked their head in front. Cripps, well, he's been the story of the last quarter in so many ways. Missed a sitter, kicked one, almost had another. Kicks to Kosicki, good kick, good mark. And there's the other sub who made a mark early, Lockie Neal. Cozzy uncertain. Had a good night, Kosicki, except for one bad mistake in this quarter. Kicked a good stretch in the front. That's a lovely mark from Dempster. And Dempster's, he's going to load it up, keeps it low to the pocket, and the ball just fading away. And a boundary throwing.
Freo have been very good at setting up defensively. This is a great mark from Dempster. But they have had a great ability tonight in roll off their direct opponents and help out.
Boundary throw in, surrounded with Sandilands. Picks up the ball in any case. Mzungu kicks it outside the defensive 50. Lucky bounce. No chance for Main. De Boer comes back to Barlow. Not the spot for it. Asked a lot of Clark. Leading back in the race is Blake. Blake and Clark. They both overrun the footy like two vaudevillians in a cow suit. Eventually it comes across towards Fisher. Picked up and hand passed nicely by Blake. Gave it to Simpkin. Now they distance the ball from the pack. Came from Gilbert to Hayes, who bounces it out of bounds.
Crowd tonight, 30,172. So Pavlich from Sandilands. Hills had a really good second half. That one not getting far, and Jones cuts it off. So percentage play so important here. Dockers have got the edge because they lead by a goal. Saints to load up. Dempster long and hard. Cozzy's been catching them all night. Couldn't quite. Duffield. Nice kick. And Hill takes a good mark, and he's quickly off and takes a chance. He's become almost the most influential player in the second half for the Dockers. Gets to Main, and then Main with a slow short one to Mundy. They're on now.
McPhee on the outer side. Nobody near him.
Oh, he left him.
Oh, Geary, what was he thinking? He went to no man's land. Ball comes to Mzungu, the man he left. Mzungu runs to 40 metres out. I think he's kicked a goal. Oh, what a kick. Geary. What a mistake.
It's a great finish. It was a great finish from about 45 metres out, 60-degree angle, and now he's kicked 2 goals.
Well, this is a fantastic goal by Mzungu, but that all came about. Zach Dawson came running off the bounce. You could just see him in the goal square there. He came running off the bench and ran straight to the goal square. It caused all of the St Kilda matchups in the forward 50 to have to come off their men, and that overlap was created from Mzungu.
Gee, they've got to dig deep now. Crowley gets a tackle. Cripps gets the ball forward. Cozzy in the front spot. Johnson, Ibbotson, back he goes. McFarlane squeezes it cleverly to Broughton. So Broughton told to play on. Good kick. And Barlow. Still with Barlow. Gets to Main. Does he go back to Barlow? He does. What a great accumulator he is, Barlow. But that one not such a good result. And out on the full. So turnover importantly for the Saints.
Come back over.
just
back we go.
gives Freo a chance to get all their numbers back. Sandilands putting himself just on the 50, defensive 50.
So Gilbert on the boundary line. It's been a great comeback by the Dockers. High ball towards the attacking 50. Dawson reaches over the top and thumps it out of bounds. Well played.
David, don't go in.
Scotty Waters, 26 games for Fremantle. Coached Subi to premierships in 07 and 08 in the WAFL. He was Freo's inaugural vice captain. Mentioned those premierships in the second year. Greg Broughton was the best and fairest for Subi. Out there doing well right now for Fremantle. On the outer side, Main gives a contest. It falls in front. Gilbert can't keep it in. Spills across the line. And time now, the ally of Fremantle. He knows that. 6:20 remaining. And you would think the closing down of Fisher leads back to Lions' doorstep. That has been a masterstroke tonight. Crowley picking himself up ruefully along with McAvoy. McAvoy who's drifted out of the game. 85-73 final term. Friday night football at Etihad Stadium. This has been everything that was billed and more. Up high was Polo. Hayes, who's been wonderful, close to the boundary line. No support, though, surrounded by Dockers. He's going to get a free kick. Advantage is paid. Now Milne's away. Far too nimble for Sandilands. The high kick. It's weaving back. 6 points the difference.
Well, I was just working out how many times Stephen Milne hasn't kicked a goal in the match. The answer's 35 out of his 240, but he gets, well, a crucial goal. Advantage paid. Hayes getting a sort of late tackle here. I mean, it was, well, half and half, I guess, but Milne taking advantage, and the Saints, well, they probably had to get to that to have a chance, and they certainly have a chance now.
It's really that advantage where everyone looks at the umpire, and Milne's smart enough to say, well, I'm off with the footy, and he's had an ordinary night. McPhee's been very good in that matchup, but it's always there when it counts.
So, yeah, got the big thump, didn't he? To Neil, cut off by Goddard. Ball still not quite coming out. Pearson, Jones to Montagna. To Armitage, running wide and running hard. Gets the ball back in board. Well done by Malira. Little gift to Montagna, and that one forced out. Just thinking, Dennis, these two clubs have had one of the most famous finishes in the history of the game. Was this a flick pass from Malira? Oh, yep. Yeah, it was just a try. Thinking of Siren Gate down in Tassie, we might have another classic tonight.
Yeah, well, it's a while since we've done a draw, you and I, Bruce. We had a spate of them early last year as the ball goes towards the wing behind Gilbert. Couldn't complete the mark. Blake going to the ground. Jones the hurried kick. High ball towards the attacking 50. Well, not sure who was interfering with whom there. It comes across towards Armitage. Pulls it back towards the boundary line. Up comes McAvoy and it spills out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a free kick every day of the week.
Yeah, it has to be. He's pushing back hard, but the arm's going all over his shoulder.
Sandilands and Stanley. Hasn't been easy to get a free tonight. Sandilands. It ricocheted back to Pearce, who kicks it about 25 metres. Close to the boundary. Clark is growing in stature. De Boer brilliantly done. And Hill takes on Hayes. Too nimble and he's away. Hill through midfield. One out contest. Pavlich and Fisher. This is top shelf. Fisher's got the advantage though. Onto the boot. Brilliant finish. Under pressure. He knew the quality of the man chasing him. Goddard to Hayes. All the big names now. The cream is rising to the top. Geary will include you in that. He's had a good night. Montagna.
He certainly deserves to be there too. Montagna to Malira. Got Revolt running past him. Malira's kicked to full forward. Milne almost for Steve. He'll be disappointed. Mundy on the up. McFarlane puts Mundy under pressure. De Boer, Sandilands, Malira cuts it off. He's clever, Malira, should have got a free kick. Montagna, Armitage, De Geary. He's kicked the ball well tonight, Geary. That one coming towards full forward. At the bottom was Milne, not quite. Johnson, Ibbotson rides the tackle. Johnson on the up. Little gift to Zach Clark. Clark to McFarlane. They dodged a bullet. St. Fans hate that. Kicks the ball out. Gilbert almost. Main and Gilbert. This is important. Still Main and Gilbert. Little Lockie Neal. Ball coming out. Well played. Hayes to full forward. And Zach Clark, worth more than a Zach right now, takes the mark.
Money coming up with the free StKilda in those really hot contests. They're mostly coming up with the ball.
Fremantle very lucky there. Saints could have got a couple of free kicks. Broughton has to wait, stretches, marks it, plays on immediately. Mundy cruising past Ballantyne, leads back in the race, looking for some separation. It took a StKilda bounce. Stephen did well, knocked it across to Geary. Stephen's got it now, pursued earnestly by Ballantyne. Across the ground, it's with Blake. Blake takes off, can go over the top. Well, he decides to go laterally. It comes to Goddard. The short one is on to Del Santo. Dangerous with the ball in his hands. Del Santo told to play on. Man on the wing. Goes very wide. Taken by Blake. 384 games they've played, the Fremantle Dockers. Never had a draw. Montagna's away. Searching kick inside the forward 50. Dawson came to it. Interfered with, will get the free.
It's got the rubber degree
the
there.
arms were chopped.
Zach. I reckon he's just about giving away 6 free kicks, but none got paid. But when it was his free kick, that one.
No. We didn't call it.
50-metre penalty. Boy, doesn't it get battle of the survival of the fittest when it gets late in games? Just the way the game's being played now.
So let's have a look at that's a 50. Interesting. Here's the reaction from Scotty Waters. So Dawson, Duffield's a long kick, we know that. Bangs it to full forward. Pavlich almost held the ball down. They've got to hang on to it here, the Dockers. De Boer, Neal, Mzungo going forward. It was touched. Fisher's trying to milk it a bit. And is that out on the full? Not quite. Well, tale of two coaches right now. The man who took the Saints to those 3 grand finals against his old team. Mzungo got it from over the back. Well done by Gilbert to Jones. Dempster. Gee, they did well, the Dockers. Broughton with a high, hard and straight one. And they're nearly home now.
Some really key contests. Even a couple of minutes go down to their defensive end that Freo have actually come out on top of, and that's where you get great confidence for a young group. Certainly not over yet by any stretch. The Saints can get a couple of quick ones, but it's been the willingness to get in and win the hard ball, repeat stoppage.
This is a really important one, not to fall on the back of the StKilda player over the footy. They kept their feet, they kept their discipline, and that kept the ball alive, didn't give away the free kick.
I mentioned the association between Broughton and Scott Waters, who always believed in Greg Broughton. I remember one day he got me to ring the Western Bulldogs to try and get him a game. Ironic then that he kicks this goal tonight, and what's a big night for both these clubs and both these coaches. Hand pass comes across to Broughton again. Broughton is lifting. High ball downwards, full forward. Anthony almost. A goal here should seal it. Dying seconds, really. Close to the boundary line. That will do. Now, how will they call this? Boundary throw in. Anthony played it very well.
He was trying to hand pass it behind and make it a 13 points. Thought that through quite well.
And so did the umpire to realise that. Didn't knock him off for deliberate. Sandilands. Simpkin hangs in the air. Goddard. The margin is 12 points. Just over a minute to go.
Goddard down the centre to Armitage.
Play on.
Is their time? Well, they've got to score from this flow of play. The transition's got to be uninterrupted now. Cripps trying hard. It hasn't been interrupted. Hill's been magnificent after the little blemish early. Mzungu to Ballantyne. And so Ballantyne, lovely kick inboard, and De Boer takes the mark. Well, they've never beaten the Saints here. They've won one Friday night match in Melbourne, and that was in 1999. They played 10 times here on a Friday night, the Dockers. Barlow to wind it up and go long, and it's a behind.
So must be the long-range kicker, Barlow. I didn't know he was.
It's a massive win for the club, isn't it? Massive win for the club. I mean, they've beaten Geelong and they've beaten St Kilda away from home in the first month.
They brought over their young players just before Christmas to come to Melbourne, experience it, to get this sort of experience, paying dividends now.
Running hard, Gilbert, but almost run down. And the Dockers are going to win big here on a Friday night at Etihad against the Saints. It was a thriller, but on top they go home now. Big night for Ross and his boys.